News OK's Press Row with the Oklahoman's Barry Trammell and Jenny Carlson is powered by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'.
I'm Barry Trammell, and I say the biggest question about Oklahoma State's spring football practice is quarterback Brandon Weeden.
We wonder, is he on the golf course or on the practice field more? From the Opoko Studios, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson. Press Row sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. Barry, I sort of say that in jest because Brandon Weeden has joined the OSU golf team. But there's no doubt he is doing spring ball full out. But still, this guy's got a lot of stuff going on, it seems like.
Well, he does. And, you know, when Bill Parcells was in the NFL, he always talked about the celebrity quarterback, the guy who becomes the franchise, the face of your franchise, the leader of your team, and then gets a little bit too starry-eyed, gets too much going on. He termed it celebrity quarterback. Now, Brandon Weeden, from all the reports, and some of these are personal reports, that we know the guy on a personal level. He's well-grounded, he's down to earth, he's got his head screwed on straight. And yet, he's become a celebrity quarterback. He's shooting baskets in Gallagher-Iba. He's playing on the OSU golf team. He's going to coordinate the OSU offense while Todd Monken learns it. I just hope that Brandon Weeden can sort of stay grounded and can stay focused and realize, you know, he got to where he was by doing the right things and not letting some of this celebrity status affect him. So that would be my concern. That he's 27 years old. He'll be 28 during the season. He's really not the same kind of person, not living the same kind of life as his teammates. So far, that's worked great. I hope it continues to do that, but it is something to keep an eye on because that kind of thing can affect a guy. He can get out of rhythm. He can get out of routine. And I think Mike Gundy has a job ahead of him to make sure that Brandon Weeden stays on course.
Yeah, you know, I do think that there is a lot going on with Brandon Weeden. I was a little surprised to see the golf team thing, the walk-on to the golf team this spring. Not to say that he's out there every day working on his, 5-iron and his approach shots or whatever, but I was a little bit surprised, especially with the new offensive coordinator situation. You knew there was going to be a transition period. I was just a little bit surprised that they would allow that he would, be given that go-ahead to go ahead and do that. But they did, and now they may have to deal with that a little bit. We knew during the season Brandon would talk on a regular basis about, going out and playing golf. We know that he does that to relax. I don't think focus is going to be a problem for him. The day that Todd Monken and the new Oklahoma State assistants were introduced to the media, we happened to bump into Brandon Weeden on our way into the press conference, and he was coming through the Hall of Fame there in Gallagher-Iba, and he was on his way to the academic center. He was doing some studying, had a test coming up. So I don't think he's running around in a limo or anything, Barry. But clearly there's a little bit of balancing here because he's going to be needed when it comes to learning this offense. Todd Monken learning this offense.
Right. I mean, Weeden is the central figure in Oklahoma State football right now. He's the reason Oklahoma State had such a fantastic 2010 season. The main reason that optimism reigns for the 2011 season. Now, I actually think it's possible that this whole golf deal is just a ploy to get free golf out at Karsten Creek. So I applaud Weeden for figuring that out. So I don't think he's going to be missing some skull sessions while he's trying to hit a sand wedge out of a bunker. But I do think that Weeden needs to remember, and all reports say he will, but I do think he needs to remember that he's more than just the quarterback of this football team. He's a leader unlike most college football players. He's the elder statesman. He's a semi-coach. He's got a lot on his plate just football-wise, and his continued development and leadership is paramount for the Cowboys.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And I tell you, there's a lot of people wondering with Dana Holgorsen leaving. And Dana wasn't a guy that he didn't have a gigantic, Denny's menu latched onto his belt loop. It was all in his head. Not a guy that seemed to write down a lot of stuff. I never heard a report of a gigantic playbook or anything running around. So Todd Monken and his offensive assistants are having to do a lot of reconstructing. Now, no doubt they've got some carryover, but the guy, the silver bullet, the ace in the hole for these guys is Brandon Weeden. He knows this offense, and he can go in there and no doubt, give him some of the finer points, tell him some of the things that he probably talked to Holgorsen about, maybe on a more one-on-one basis. He needs to lock in to make sure that these guys know what they need to know heading into the season. He's not the student anymore in this regard. He's now the teacher, and he's going to have to take that role seriously. like Barry said, I think that we have evidence that he will, but you got to make sure that balance is there. And right now the balance has to tilt very heavily towards football. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.